I reckon that's just about enough. Hey guys, lads and ladies, how do I turn this bloody thing off? I always have a problem with this. There you go. You hit stop, you go back there, you greet your one or two people that are listening. You know, I forgot to link this on Telegram. I do have a Telegram thing. I actually met a regular person on Facebook the other day. You know what? Sometimes it's not a bad idea. If you find a person on Facebook that says something interesting, just go up and send them a message. Not hooked up, it's not a good word to use, but I checked up and got messages, and now we got our Telegram like contact and all that. It's pretty cool. Anyway, oh, by the way, I am on Facebook, just kind of can't use it for another 30 days or so. Just got to be careful with that. Just make sure you just puppies, man. That's all you got to post. Anyway, guys, it's good to see you. Got quite a lot I actually want to talk about today and react to. In fact, I'm looking back at the doors to make sure it's shut. The main point of today's video is actually going to be reaction to 3 things. And I know I don't want to I couldn't become a reaction channel anyway. Let's just face it. I'm not organized, one. I don't have like the boisterous sort of, I'm not, I do get excited. but I don't get excited in the right way that people want to watch. There's probably something else, but anyway, still, there are certain things I see in the audio world or the camera world, and maybe, some of the worlds that I do want to say something about. And today, what I really would like to talk about, now I'm going to assume that the sound is coming up. Not getting any feedback, don't have any Finnish people or some people from another places that I can't pronounce, don't have an English person saying anything. No one's saying that the sound's coming, but I'm pretty sure it is. So I'm just going to trust that everything's going good. What we're going to talk about today first is something that I think everyone really does need to everyone has been focusing on about, but no one has really been focusing on it in the right way. And that is something that we just saw in the news today, the Photographer World News. And that is, and I'm going to get the, am I doing this right? Canon Rumors. Yeah, let's go. If you go to Canon Rumors right now, here, I'm not going to go to Canon Rumors. I'm going to share the video. How's that? I think it's a good idea. Let's see if we can do this here. Stop screen sharing. Share screen. Chrome tab. I got this. The camera Reinvented. Share audio. Let's just watch this. I'm going to get my headset on. Guys, this is exciting to me, this camera thing. And you'll see. We'll react to it. Hopefully the sound's going to come through on that. Here, wait, that's not it. Is that what I want to do? No. I wanted to go here. Where is it? That's not it. Sorry, guys, did the wrong one. Camera battery. I thought I did this right. All right, this is how you do it. This is how the pros do it. They just camera Reinvented YouTube. This is what I want. Share audio. All right, let's check out this video. You guys saw this on. If you went to Canon Rumors, they probably got it Sony Rumors and all that. This is Canon Rumors unlisted video to the live Kickstarter, whatever, for this new camera battery extension. 2 things I'm excited about. Let's just watch this though. 45 seconds. See if we can get through it. That's loud. It's loud. Firstly, that's too loud. How we turn down the volume? Just a moment. All right, let's go back. How you turn the volume down? Bloody. All right, there we are. Okay, let's go. Let's go back here. By the way, I'm just going to grab a camera first, just to get sort of a reference. Bloody tennis elbow ain't getting any better. Gotta get new drugs. All right, I'm gonna get a fake camera battery, Canon battery pack here. Put the Canon in my lap. Hopefully don't fall. All right, let's go. All right, first, that one says, so this new extension that can go, I think, as far as I understand it, in your Canon mirrorless camera as well as your Sony mirrorless camera. Now, of course, I don't have either, but if I did, I probably would be going Canon. But one thing, we'll get to that first. I just want to check here. My battery, this is like it's a fake Canon. It's not a real one. My Canon one is like from 2008, so it's ancient. But this is 2000 mAh's, and according to the advertisement here, it says 2 times the effective operation duration. Of course, if it's 3,700, it is roughly double, which may mean that, for instance, your Sony, which is supposed to get like 700 shots with the new Z batteries, maybe gets 1,400 shots, and your Canon, which gets, say, 350 SEPA, but more like 600, can get 1,200, whatever, like that. That is pretty cool, but that's not the only cool thing about this. And why am I bothering about batteries? Guys, battery is like one of the big Achilles heel for the whole mirrorless thing. But okay, come on, click it. Let's go on. Let's go on. It'd be nice though if one of you guys told me if you can hear me and all that. The sound sounds good. Corling, thank you very much. That's ridden my brain. All right, let's go. Okay, that, by the way, ladies and gents, this is cool. You have a battery indicator on the battery itself. It's kind of a shame that listen, as far as I know, just want to make sure there's nothing weird. my YouTube feed. I watch a lot of varied stuff. Let's just put it that way. But it's too bad that most normal batteries don't have a battery indicator. I don't know how much extra space it takes, but it'd be really cool to know before putting the camera battery in a charger or your phone, not your phone, your camera, how much battery is there. This is cool. It's got a battery indicator. Oh, that's not all, man. I'm excited about the battery because this is the day, man. Okay, it's not released. It's supposed to be in March 2021. Will 2021 even come around and anyone have any money to spend other than UBI or whatever? I have no idea. But assuming it comes around and things are, a little bit, there's no way they're going to be less wonky. But assuming that some semblance of capitalist normalcy is obtained, or some sort of stable corporate communism, this may be on the market. Now, whether you can go outside and actually take photographs is another thing. But if you can't, you can take videos of cats and stuff for twice as long. Ooh, man. This is for the gun people. I'm not a gun guy. I haven't fired a gun in a long time, but makes me quick reload. Do you see that? It's like the magazine dropping in or out. I'm not, like I said, I don't know the lingo. You gun guys, you probably know. You can tell me what it is. But look at that. Pop. You got to pull off one thing though. You got to pull off the battery door. So if you've used extensions, grip extensions, or battery grips, you got to. This is the. Wait, am I still showing? Just gotta make sure I'm showing here. All right, I'm showing. Cool. All right, so I got a camera up here, and so you gotta. How do you pull this? You don't have to pull this thing. I don't want to do it. Oh wait. Oh, they make that easy. There's a little lever. There's a lever. I'm used to just like pulling it out like that's like a watch lever. You pull it in, and the top post comes undone. Way to go, Canon. All right. Well, anyway, that thing will pop in right here. As far as I understand, it doesn't work with DSLR. If it did, that'd be cool. But you just pop it in like that. And of course, the new mirrorless cameras, new EOS R, R6, R5, they use the same type of battery, this LP-E6, or whatever it is, like some updated version, in their cameras, which is real cool. So you just pop it right in like that. And I guess it somehow locks. Don't know how that, wow, that's cool. I can't see. Man, Canon gets so many pluses here for me. Spring load, I don't know. All right, that's cool. Yeah, now I'm respecting my camera just a little bit more. All right, let's go back. Quick reload. Boom, boom. Oh, they just boom. You see they drop it right there like you're at a rave. Not a rave. What is that called? I used to do these. You go to a trance party or whatever, and then, they get you with that sort of melodic thing, and there's kind of like the bass lines have gone down, and they're just kind of like just getting you ready to bring the melody, and then suddenly the bass drops, and then the melody doesn't come back, but then there's just the bomb, right like that. That's degenerate music though, so, but look at that. This is still gun stuff. Grip extension. Okay. Now, assuming this works with the tiny small mirrorless cameras like the RP, this is a rather important thing. Now, the RP has a good grip, but even if you'll notice, now again, I don't have like proper carpenter hands. This is a DSLR, and my pinky isn't orphaned. I assume you can see this, but the pinky's right at the edge. So would I like a larger grip? Not necessarily. For this, I think this is perfectly fine for my rather narrow fingers. But when you pick up a mirrorless, and everyone knows this, so currently I have a grip extension on the X-T3 and my finger's completely orphaned there. So I basically have two fingers holding on, one finger for the trigger shutter or whatever you call it, and the thumb on the back. So a grip like this, now they don't, as far as I understand, they don't do this for Fujifilm, maybe they will, would stick out about as far as this mica grip does, which would, leave it like this. Sony also have extremely short camera bodies. So while the grip is a little bit better than Fujifilm's on their newest A7 IV, etc., or R4 and A9, you will orphan your finger, absolutely. So this thing sticks out a little bit more, almost to the fact that when they brought out the A7, and I was really complaining and still have, the fact is that you're going to get your fingers mushed between the lens and the grip. But they did release a little L bracket, which allowed you to just get a little bit more purchase. And that allowed you to pull your fingers back a bit, so they weren't mushing up against the lens quite as much. This isn't just a piece of metal that you stick on your camera because your camera's designed poorly. It extends your battery life, which is, I don't see a lot of companies thinking this sort of forwardly, progressively. That's a word I like, progressive. I think I'm a progressive. I'm one of the most progressive people I know because I'm always thinking forwardly from a certain direction. But yeah, if you can extend the grip and the battery life in the same thing, cool. Again, March 2021, if that comes. This is cool. And this is the main reason I'm quite interested in this thing. I'm not a mirrorless user at the moment. Well, I got the X-T3 or whatever. But if I were to come back, battery life was still a problem then, and grip was still a problem. This seems pretty damn cool. I'm talking too much, though. Oh, look at that, look at that, look at that. You can plug in. Okay. You can plug in your stuff to the battery. It's got double the capacity. So, and one of these batteries is going to have a lot more capacity anyway than your phone, etc. Or if you got some other like moving gimbal or something like that, gimbal, or something else that needs a little bit of extra juice, or microphone, you can then plug the battery that sticks out. It's got a little port there to that. That is so cool. So forward, so progressive. Again, you're not going to find a more progressive guy than me. Bass drop. Okay, now here's my criticism. Why? Okay, I'm excited about this, and it seems like, why is he so excited about a camera video? It could be because the music is just like right. It's like it's going back to my 20-year-old self, and the trance is just, and I'm like, boom, boom. The whole reason I got into the audio world, haven't done a lot of talking about it, was in order to record trance and other concerts. Didn't only happened several times, but whatever. Why am I so excited about this? Music is there. The features are obviously there for cameras, I think, that generally need the boost in the ergonomics. Battery, obviously. But one thing about this video is it's a little bit, if I were to put it in car terms, this is like it's like a Japanese sports car. It looks so much faster and so much more exciting than it is. In fact, it's so exciting looking, it doesn't even look like a car anymore. It looks like some sort of super evolved fish wearing armor, basically. And this video, it literally, if you think about it, it's just a battery that it sticks out of the bottom of your camera that you can plug stuff into. And the entire video is like, boom. But I am pretty excited. Look at that guy. You see that? He's got a comb over there. He's got his little selfie thing there. Probably got a bit of soy dripping down the beard. That's a good idea. This is such a good idea, this whole thing. It's well edited, actually, but I don't know about that. It's too much drone stuff. All right. Anyway, that's a cool video. We're going to just unplug that here. Remove that there. Sounds fine. Okay, thank you, T. Woo and Corling. It's very nice to hear from you guys. Anyway, why such a thing is so exciting? Mirrorless cameras, bad ergonomics that some companies are fixing. Panasonic definitely one. Canon another. Sony slowly fixing things, but you get double the battery life. Essentially, now if it comes out, works fine, bingo. Now, second thing, before I get on to the other thing I really want to talk about, and I do want to talk about it, is I have mismanaged my Patreon account for about a year. And what I mean by that is it started with the best of intentions, as all paths to hell do. And then it with quite, I think I had a maximum of, and you guys are going to laugh, that's fine, 3 patrons, I think, is what I had. And slowly but surely, they all dropped out, and it's completely understandable. The idea was that every time I released a review, I would release 2 sets of photographs, one in 4K that was a composite, that would be kind of like what an advertising photographer would take for a magazine, etc., a high-end magazine, so something you would see that itself would be an advertisement photograph, so high-end. And the other 2 would just be 2 higher-end, nicer images that I took from the review, one in 4K, one in 1080p, and the composite would be 4K. Now, it turns out that every single week for a channel the size of mine, where I have 3,000 subscribers, no, 2,000.8 subscribers, 2,800, 3 Patreons for a maximum of something like, let's say they supported, they wanted the composite one. They put in $4, thank you very much, per review. It ended up that thinking about it, I was like, Nathan, you are not, this is not sustainable. So eventually everyone dropped out, because when the reviews came in, now I wouldn't charge anyone if I didn't have the photographs ready, and it was a charge per video thing. But it was so much work taking a really nice advertising style photograph and putting it up for people to get from my reviews in 4K. Let's say taking an image like that takes anywhere, let's say just a setup, doing all the compositing, and then if all I was going to do was do it for like a magazine, say middle-end magazine style, where you boost up the saturation, no, you contrast a couple other things, maybe take down the highs a little bit, but clean up the dust. Let's say that's about 2 hours of work. But if I was to go, and this was my idea, Nathan, you're going to give these guys the best damn wallpapers. If I was to go whole hog, it's, 5 hours of work, 6 hours of work. Sounds awesome. And if I was doing this full time, if this was my job, if I was a streamer, I would love to do something like that. But it turns out I did it at the wrong time for this channel. And so one by one, the Patreons, all 3 of them, just 3, left, and it was a clever idea. I'm glad that they left, because let's be honest, they wanted their wallpapers, they wanted their reviews. And I started hating doing reviews because it was like so much work. There's the script, there's the filming, neither of them maybe are that good. Then there's a great photograph, and it was just so much work. So anyway, I'm going to rework my Patreon, and my ideas are a little bit all over the place at the moment. But I promise that I'm going to be getting back to it. The idea, I think what I'm just going to do is just kind of go into lower the cost per video and do just 4K or 1080p, I can't figure out which one, versions of photographs that I've taken for the reviews. Just single snapshot, maybe get the contrast right so it looks right. And then if you guys want to support me for that, thank you very much. But I'm not going to hang so much work over my head, and I'm not going to make you guys wait. That was just ridiculous, and I really apologize for that, because I had not only bit off more than I could chew, I hadn't returned what I promised. And so I broke my promise, to 3 people, fine. But I did. And so I'm very sorry for that. So next time I do it, when I get, I'm going to turn the aircon, by the way. By the time I do it, remote control, progressive. By the time I do it again, I'm going to make sure that I can do it every week, whatever I wanted to do. So anyway, that's that. And I will come and I'll explain that I've gotten it working. And I may even do, if eventually it gets popular, fingers crossed, Don't think so. If ever it gets popular, then, we'll do what other streamers do or whatever. They, videos for the guys, Anyway, what I want to talk about next is, how do I describe this? About a year ago, now I've been following this guy for a long time. Not properly follow, like I haven't been subscribed to him forever. I think only maybe about a year I've been subscribed, but I've been watching his videos for quite a long time. Not all of them. Maybe, let's say, at a nadir of like one over a month, out of a month, or one every 2 months, to a high of 2 or 3 a day, going through his back catalog. And he's a guy, I think, that I discovered through Fuji Rumors forum section, or their comment section, and maybe it was Nikon as well. And a lot of people, he's a type of guy in our circles that rubs people the wrong way, but whom is followed by many, many, many people who also love him. A year ago, I wanted to do a video, or maybe it was this year, early on. I wanted to actually do a video that was kind of like, can you guess which photographer like is a virgin and which one's a Chad? And I wanted to put these kind of like popular YouTubers in there, and it was going to be some sort of like, not tongue-in-cheek, but just some sort of cynical take on this whole thing. And I think that was a mistake. Not only because it would seem like clickbait, one. Two, why would I do that? What's the point of trying to pit two people that may have never talked with each other, who don't know who I am, whatever, and just to do something that's funny? But whilst I was doing that, I had sort of formulated an idea of who this person was in my brain because of comment sections, and I wasn't watching his videos enough. After that, I made sure to go through his videos a lot, including his videos on, this is going to give it away, magnetism, philosophy, ancient Greek, Russian, stuff like that. This guy is one of those, what are they called? $6 million man? It was no. What is it called? Jack of all trades or whatever. He's not, we've seen his work. He's not, in terms of photography, he knows a lot about the hardware. He's not the most inspiring photographer, but what he has to say is generally good, often on point, although I think we'll see in the video here that I may mention a couple things. But he has a very interesting life and a lot of interesting things to say that are about everything. Anyway, this is the Angry Photographer, or how do you say his name on YouTube? Theoria Apophasis. Theoria Apophasis. So Angry Photographer, you've seen him on your comment section. I've got a video that he's done just very recently, and I just wanted to watch it with you guys, give a couple reactions to it, and not what I want to react to is what I consider. He considers himself, and he mentioned it in the video, I've watched it, he wants to tell you the truth. And I've come to the point where I wonder if we live in the same reality, because I've seen him lie, very outwardly and obviously lie, or just completely have the wrong metric for judging a situation. But he says he tells the truth. I have become, and why I'm hesitating, why I'm giving this whole preamble here is, I love this guy. Of all the YouTube photographer guys, he's probably my favorite. Yes, he's absolutely like a Fujifilm diehard fanboy. He says that he's like Nikon or whatever. I don't care about that. Although that is kind of a sticking point. It's hard to listen to him talk about other companies because he's so completely biased against them. However, he's got so many interesting things to say, and he brings his personal life into his, otherwise what you could say is, I mean, there's some people that are into his channel for the magnetism, some people for the philosophy, most probably for the photography, etc. Okay, T-Woo. Okay, you hated him, but you like him now. Yeah, I started after he was already popular on the comment sections of either, like I said, Fuji Rumors or Nikon Rumors. Maybe he was somewhere else, and people would +1 or plus minus, like, what do you call it, vote bomb or vote up bomb or what do you call it. But I think it was after he was kind of not really commenting that much. And then, so I would just, it would be, you'd go into a forum and then somebody laughed like, oh, ha, ha, Angry Photographer would do something. I'm like, who is this guy? It's like, it's almost like if you go to like a Christian teen concert, they're always like, what would Jesus do? And eventually you'd be in some comment section and be like, how would angry photographer say something, you know? And except that at a Christian teen concert, probably the people there are generally fans of Jesus, whereas the angry photographer has as many detractors and probably no one that are kind of like putting their salvation in him. However, I like this guy a lot. And this is just my preamble, because in the video, I think you're going to see me possibly react maybe negatively to a couple of things. I just want to say, of all the camera photographer channels, even over Pal2 Tech, which I like, his energetic enthusiasm and just honesty, his honest personality just comes through. I like Michael the Maven because he's really thorough. Jonas Rosk, his photographs are just incredibly inspiring. Who else do I like? I'm trying to think here. I don't watch on YouTube. I basically watch philosophy, right-wing philosophy stuff, carpentry stuff, and that's basically it. So a number of photographers that I actually watch, it's just when there's something interesting that I'm actually thinking about in real life. So anyway, that's that. Anyway, let's go on. Oh, by the way, let's check out his Instagram together, because man, this guy is also the other thing. Oh, no, have I done this right? I've not done this right. Copy. Oh shoot! I almost bonked this. Chrome tab. I don't think I have to share audio. I'm just going to do it just in case. No. How do you do it? There we are. Ken Wheeler. Ken Wheeler is his name, by the way. So I think we're looking at his channel to get his Instagram channel here. Big, you know, he's got 230,000, something like that, followers, maybe more on YouTube. Instagram's got 10.3K. That's a lot. He's author, photographer, translator of ancient Pali and Greek. Not sure what that is. Expert in field theory. Not sure what that is. Got his PayPal up there. If I were like a critic, I'd be like, come on, you got a PayPal. No, man, this guy is he's way more deeply involved and he's less impressed. He's the real deal, man. Anyway, if you look at his Instagram, what has he got? He's basically, this is him in a nutshell. He's got links here to UK developing QR code system to only allow vaccinated people into events. Depending on how you view this thing, then you're going to look on this positively or negatively, and you might be like, well, why is he linking that? And then, he basically goes down, and you can see, okay, he's obviously, skeptical of this whole thing. But then he adds music here. He's collecting some dollars, it looks like. Oh, yeah. He's got a cabin out in the woods. Check this out. He's got about like a cord of wood here. I don't know. He's got a lot of, he's worth following on Instagram as much as he is anywhere else. And actually the comment sections of his Instagram are also enlightening. Anyway, all right. Let's get to, here, I'm going to close that one there. He's got a video. I think it's his latest one. It's called Why Fujifilm. Now let's get there. All right. So guys, check out here. I'm going to give his, right in the chat, maybe later on, if I remember, I'll put this in the link description as well. But check it out. This is his Instagram. Definitely check it out. Definitely here. Let's make sure his YouTube. I'll try to make sure I got this or put this in the link description. All that. Wait, what? That's not the link. How did I do that? Just a moment, guys. Nathan, you're better than this, man. You're better than this. You can do this. There. Apopasis, however you say that, no idea. All right. Hey, Biz Guster. First time I've seen you. Nice to have you. By the way, Tiwu, if I've seen you before, I'm sorry. I don't remember seeing you. Corling, I've seen you before. I think. It's also confusing. All right. Fujifilm. Wait, did I link to it? I didn't link to it, man. All right, stop screen. Share screen. We got to make sure we got the audio. Chrome tab, share audio. Why Fujifilm? Okay. This is a short. It's 9 minutes. I'm not sure we'll get through all of it because I'll probably have a lot to say. I'm going to try to let him do as much speaking as he can, and I'm not going to try to interrupt him except when I think it's important to. Anyway, Victor, excellent to see you here. Thank you. So we're talking about the angry photographer, Ken Wheeler, the man in the cabin, and one of the reasons I really like him is I think he's, of all the photographers, he's the most based. He is he's way too in the Fuji balloon, and I think he actually lies about Fujifilm. He lies about Sony. I don't think. Here's the thing, though. I'm not sure he recognized that he's lying. His review of the A7 III was one lie, basically from the front to the back, except for when he showed his finger after using it all day, where the finger was basically he was bleeding because his knuckle got jammed up between the lens and the grip. But when he did the comparison, image quality, either the Sony was massively defocused, or he was just. But there's no way that it could be that defocused and he could put it up honestly and say, this is an honest comparison between the Sony and I think at the time it was like the XH1 or the XT2. But it was he lied. You look at any other review and the A7 III, sharp, great image quality. He lied. Anyway, let's get to the video. Nathan, stop talking. All right, guys, let's check this out. I'm going to try not to do too much talking. It's a 9-minute video. We're going to sit through it. And when I see something to chat about, tell me if you can see the audio or listen to the audio, hear the audio, sorry. If you cannot, then I will try to reset the video. All right, here we are. Oh, shoot. Sorry about that.
I get like the same question over and over again.
Oh, by the way, I'm stopping it already. This is like EFAP. See how he's putting the mic up there and you can hear it? Okay, in my latest video that no one watched, go and watch my latest video, man. I like tucked the mic there, and I took that thing and I let the sound go through, and I thought it would be cool and people would appreciate it, but no one mentioned it. It's basically what he does. No one mentioned it. It's cool. It's cool. All right.
It's like, that's the premise of a video. It's not too complicated, right? Question is, why Fujifilm, right? Listen, not sponsored by them in any way, shape, or form. Have you seen my face? I'm a little too brutally honest for any.
He said it. He said it at first, so I'm going to stop it again. All right. You are sometimes... Everyone has... I just had a bit of bourbon or whiskey. Sorry about that. Yes, on the rocks. I know it's not the real thing. Had it on the rocks. It's fine. But I think when a person says about themselves that they're brutally honest, I think what they mean is that they have opinions that sort of butt up against or jut out, and other people notice them, often negatively. I think that if we're to use that sort of broad description, I think that I fall into that camp. In the camera world, listen, I'm a small fry. No one basically knows about me. But I've written a couple of articles on my small blog that no one knows about and I don't update, that have over time garnered a lot of views and a lot of negativity because I believe that I was being extremely honest. One was the A7R review, basically, which I said, great image quality, except for the RAWs. Horrible ergonomics, horrible menus, horrible battery life, horrible haptics, etc. And I think that camera had basically the hopes of a lot of people riding on it when it came out. And so and I was negative very specifically about a lot of things. And for that reason, a lot of negativity. And I could say that I was brutally honest. And I was positive about things I was positive about and brutally honest about the things that I was brutally honest about. But everyone has their blind spots. Everyone has their blind spots. And so if you're going to blanket call yourself brutally honest, I think what your blind spot is that you think, and then everyone thinks this, right? If you're going to say something, your opinion doesn't represent, well, some people think that your opinion is you. I don't think that. I think that's really I don't want to say the word. It begins with an R, ETAR, and you can follow the rest. You say it and you get in trouble. That was a like a really progressive word back in the day. But if you say your opinion represents you, then you've basically shrunk yourself into a tiny corner, and it's like there's no point. Just you're nothing. However, your opinions do represent what you think about and where you're existing in any sort of like philosophical and maybe emotional plane, and probably some other spiritual, who knows, other stuff too. But pardon me just a moment. The way you decide to relate with your opinions is rather important. If you think, like for instance, I'm brutally honest, well, you're brutally honest about this, but what about this? No one is brutally honest. I think the people that are the most honest are generally not brutally honest. Maybe he's brutally autistic about certain things, and he just sort of brutally is blasé about other things. I don't know, but yeah. So, all right, didn't need to go that far, but anyway, here we go. Let's go.
Company, but I do know quality, and I do know precision. I know reliability. I'm a huge Nikon fan, by the way. Nikon stock has slipped into the dumpster past year and a half. Their corporate.
I don't know anything about this stuff, so don't ask me.
Corporate hubris has caught up to them. They haven't produced anything that's really raised anybody's eyebrows. I promised viewers that I would.
I think I might want to say something here. This is gonna be a long video. This is like EFAPs, 12 hours. Let's see if YouTube will let us do it. All right. I don't know about their stock. Don't care about that sort of thing. I don't honestly care if a company fails or succeeds. I don't care about that. However, let's be brutally honest here. When Fujifilm brought out their X100 and X Pro, those were groundbreaking cameras. However, they weren't wholly unique. The X100 is basically just a big Windows version of basically every other compact camera, digital camera that came out like in the early 2000s. They all had a little window there, and they had a zooming lens. Now, and some of them didn't, but they were like, just like film camera that had that little thing. They just slapped into some digital stuff in there. The thing that Fujifilm did that was different was make it look like an old camera. And then they sort of capitalized on, it was much larger and it seemed more professional. It was expensive. It wasn't like a $300 or $400 camera. It was, $1,500 or something like that. And the X Pro followed on that. And of course, it added interchangeable lenses, and it gave you it gave itself the appearance of a digital rangefinder, a la the Contax G. However, after that, every single camera they released was basically just, I don't know if this is brutally honest or not, was just let's just forget that. The only unique cameras that Fujifilm have released are the X100 and the X Pro. There's no one else on the market doing anything like that. Leica's rangefinders, of course, are manual focus cameras. The mechanics in there are all mechanical. There's no digital in terms of that. Their Q system doesn't have an optical viewfinder. So Fujifilm are basically all on their own there, and that is unique. Every other of their cameras is fully digital with just some fascia on the top. Now, you could argue that the X Pro and the X100 series are same thing with just a little box for the OVF. But demanding that a company does something unique, truly unique, in order to capture something in the market, I think is kind of redonkulous. The reason is this. You can't, in a world, let's say there are, how do you do this? How do you do this without like sounding like a guild master or something like that? Or you can't have 9 different companies all doing something completely unique and like just groundbreaking on the market. It's impossible. You can make 9 different cameras. Let's say, how many cameras we have? Panasonic, we have Olympus, we have Fujifilm, we have Nikon, we have Canon, Leica, Sigma. Do they count? Listen, we probably have 9, maybe not, but even 5 of those. Now let's say this. No, here. even if you had just 2 camera companies, everyone else, fine, you have 9, but you have 2 that gobble up 99% of the market. The rest share 1%. My guess is that the cameras that we're selling in the 1%, those would be the more unique cameras. The vast majority of people don't want something completely unique and groundbreaking. They want something that works, something that they know, something they can understand. And this is why I've sort of gravitated somehow to Canon over the years. I don't want to talk positively or negatively about Canon at the moment, but Nikon doesn't have to make something groundbreaking. They just have to make something that, in my opinion, that supplies their fans, the people that have supported them over the years, and the people that are looking to get into the market for Nikon, something that just makes sense to them. Now, I have a friend who's really into Nikon because he liked the shape of their grips and how at least their DSLRs, how they felt very solid. And it's true. He doesn't like the Canon grip. Now, the grip shape itself is not groundbreaking, but the grip shape and the way the camera feels in the hand and the way the buttons fall under the fingers is important to a lot of people. If you're a Fujifilm person, absolutely not. You're interested in the fact that it looks like a film camera. If you're the Sony, I'm not sure what it is you're there for, except for they're an exciting company, I guess. They put out a lot of stuff. You could say they're groundbreaking because they were the first like full frame mirrorless Leica. That wasn't you. It was Sony. I don't know, whatever. But you can't always have groundbreaking. You can just have companies that tailor their products to you in general. And if you're you've got super specific desires, and you want something super groundbreaking, you're part of that 1%. You want that 1% of things. No one's going to buy the super groundbreaking, super unique thing. Now, that said, if you're going to sell a lot, you're going to have a lot of customers, and you're going to make something that's reliable and that people choose, it has to be, in its own way, it has to appeal to that sort of market that doesn't want to be the other 50%. But again, it cannot be groundbreaking that way. It just has to be good enough and reliable enough to go with the momentum. All right, go on.
Purchased the Nikon Z6 Mark II, and I've had a lot of Fujifilm, but why are you buying that? Why are you buying that camera? Well, my job is actually to test cameras, and I promised I would test that, and I am going to. And it's like, that's what I do, but...
This is my video.
All right, looks like we got an advert here. Just a moment.
It's a little boring.
All right. By the way, someone said that this live stream was boring too. Thank you. But that guy, he just said that about everything. So I don't know. Here we go.
A simple fact, and this is only one aspect. There's a very simple window on why Fujifilm. And of course, I have all the GFX cameras. I sold off the 50S, but I have the GFX 100, and my favorite camera of all time, GFX 50R. Even though the GFX 100 is way better in basically every way, it's still my favorite camera, the 50R.
Okay, here's an interesting thing. So I don't know Fujifilm's market going up or down, no idea, versus Nikon or whatever. I mean, Nikon are coming, if anything has changed, they used to have a massive market. It's very hard for a company that's way up the top to do anything, to like keep going. I mean, you have limited everything, right? To keep going is just kind of ridiculous. Fujifilm, they have the luxury of being almost right at the bottom, and it'd be very hard to go down. It's much easier to go up because they're one of the, in that example where I say is 50-50 or 49-49, the last 2%, whatever, they're one of the options. So people can go in, they can find their niche, they can go on, they can go back and forth. They enjoy a certain amount of, there's a certain amount of leeway that a regular person who doesn't want to be in the 49%ers can enjoy when they're there. But Fujifilm GFX R. What's ground? It's his favorite camera. Yeah, I don't want to get onto that. It's his favorite camera. That's cool. It's basically just like a big XE1 or XE2 or XE3 with bad autofocus. All right. Actually, I wanted to get into like groundbreaking, but I don't think we have to get to this point. Go on, Ken.
Is that Nikon Z6 Mark II? Yeah, full frame sensor camera, vertical grip, dual card slots. There is absolutely nothing about the Z6 Mark II or the Z7 Mark II or any Nikon camera that can in any way impress me on image output relative to my GFX cameras. I mean, there is not a snowflake. It's not my opinion. It's a fact. There is nothing about any current Nikon camera that is in any way impressive relative to the image output of a GFX. Well, those GFX cameras are not really fast. Z6, Z7, you could hit the hardcore sports action, whereas you cannot do that with the GFX cameras, even though the GFX 100 is the world's first fast, relatively so fast autofocus medium.
I remember when the GFX 100 came out. I like Jonas Rask a lot, but he was saying it focuses as fast as the XT3. Now, my opinion about the XT3 focus is that it doesn't focus nearly as fast as everyone says it does, but the GFX 100 in no way focused as fast as the XT3. That is the fastest focusing of those cameras. Now, oh, Nathan, come on, man. Why are you talking about the autofocus speed? It was all about the image quality. Yes. You did. Oh, man. Okay. I sound like a critic or like a person that's not a fan. This is kind of rubbish. And it's getting cool in here. I'm going to bump up the temperature so it's not like 15 degrees in here. All right. 24. All right. You did a shoot off with Jason Lanier some years ago, maybe 2 or 3. I don't know if Jason Lanier is still going. Good expose. I don't know if it's right or not, but Ken, you did some stuff, man. Let's not get into that. All right. You did this like tete or tete or a face-to-face shoot off with Jason Lanier. And he had, I think his Sony guy, so he had like his A7 III or A9 or whatever it was, or A7R. And you both shot the same model. You had the big GFX. I don't remember if it was X100 or if it was GFX 100 or if it was a 50S or the 50R. But you brought some pretty impressive lighting. You brought your camera. You both shot it. And you know what? Your photographs in comparison to Daniel Lanier, who's that guy? Jason Lanier's, were very honestly, there was no comparison. His photographs were much better. Now, if both of you had the same eye, same light, you were like Jason Lanier too. You were his twin. And you both just thought exactly the same way. And you took the same photographs. Even then, at some point, the A7 III is going to, or whatever he was using, is going to get more keepers because autofocus is faster, as well as the frames per second are faster. It's just going to get more keepers in stills. And because of that, yeah, sure, absolutely. You could say, I mean, if you want to go pixel to pixel, toe to toe, the A7 is anything, A7 R4, whatever. Even that camera is not going to show up next to the GFX 100. Now, here's the other thing though. The GFX 100 megapixels, the A7R4 60. I don't know what he was using at that time and what you were using. But even then, don't do the megapixel thing, man. Don't do it. My largest photograph that anyone ever printed was 2.3 meters by 2 meters, something like that. And it was a 15 megapixel image, and it was done for advertising. And so they spent a lot of money printing it, and I took it, and it was a good image, and it wowed a lot of people. And people were like, dude, that was freaking awesome. 15 megapixels. Would have been better 100. Yeah, probably would have. So I don't want to get into that. I think that more megapixels is always better, to be honest. But 60 and 100 and roughly the same generation of processors sensors, and the GFX 100 is just 60% larger. I mean, you've said it yourself, full frame doesn't offer much of a difference, much of a benefit to APS-C. And Fujifilm fans in general say that. And full frame is 2.5 or 2.25 times the size of the APS-C sensor. But somehow, the GFX, which is only 60% larger than a full frame sensor, somehow that camera blows the full frame sensor away. It doesn't compute. The logic does not follow. If a sensor that's 225% larger makes almost no difference, the 60% larger sensor should make less difference. Now, if we're just comparing linearly, so 60 to the full frame and the full frame to the APS-C, doesn't make sense. But all things being equal, more megapixels is better. But more megapixels itself does not make itself groundbreaking. Someone's always going to bring up more. And we've had more than 100 megapixels for years now with Phase 1 and Leaf. And I believe even Hasselblad, could be wrong about that. We had pixel shift of the Hasselblads like 6 or 7 years ago for 400 megapixels. So that can't be the answer. And we've had fast focusing medium format cameras in the Rollei cameras. Very good autofocus. Of course, you had to use old sensors, and there's a whole bunch of incompatibility problems, and it's a DSLR, but whatever. So, not sure why I said all that, except to say that I don't see how you can go from groundbreaking. Nikon ain't doing enough. My favorite camera is a GFX-R. Anyway, let's go on.
Format camera, world's first. Probably will remain that way too. It's like, well, this is true, but this is what the Fujifilm X-T4 is for. And Nikon does, and Canon have it over, looms over the head of Fujifilm as far as some of the really big, hardcore sports action wildlife glass. 600mm 04, 400mm 2.
Some, literally all of it. Fujifilm has no wildlife, no sports glass. I tried by the way, I was at Yodobashi the other day. I took my X-T3 with firmware 4.0. Check out my videos, man. Links in the description, maybe. I took it, put on the 200 f2. That is a nice looking lens, by the way. Very nicely finished. Crinkle finish. By the way, Fujifilm's crinkle finish is good. I've got the Canon, what is it called? The 5D Mark IV. Where's the crinkle finish, man? It's just kind of like, it's barely mottled. And it's mottled in sharp little peaks. And so you get like clothes rubbing off on it, and grease doesn't look good on the Fujifilm ones, which are already slightly shiny. And it's that sort of not mottled. That's not the word. That crinkle finish. None of that stuff sticks onto it. Oh, man. And it's already shiny. So grease oils, sweats, everything just kind of rolls off. It's so much. I want my Canon with the same crinkle finish, by the way. Not sure what I was talking about.
2.8, 300, 2.8.
Oh yeah, that's the 200 f2. Probably a really cool lens if the Fujifilm focus system was better. Even with firmware 4.0, and apparently the X-T4 is better. Maybe you focus on something and it goes, and then you focus to something close and goes. It's fast, sure, but it's jumpy. It's not natural. And if you're doing a lot of action with that thing, your eye, if you're seeing a lot of action. Now, I haven't shot a lot of sports. I was doing sport events back in 2012, 2013. And then before that, I was just covering some school stuff as a single. I was single at the time. It's before I got married. Single photographer just covering a certain event. But those were schools. They're not professional stuff. They're just like school stuff, as well as what was it? Basketball events in stadiums, but it wasn't professional. I don't think it's professional. I can't remember. It was a while ago. But anyway, even my low amount of experience in this subject, I can say this: when you're following action, you don't want distractions. That's why I think mirrorless is, it's still getting there for this. I think in general, the DSLR is still going to be better. You don't want flickering. You don't want weird artifacting in the viewfinder. You don't want any of that. You want it to be as flicker-free and as artifact-free as possible. And your lenses, you want to zoom right into where you want it to go and focus, and then come back smoothly but fast. The Fujifilms go fast, but they jump and then they wobble. And this is bad. They could have a 300, a 400, a 500 millimeter lens. They could all be super speed. Everyone could have them. But with the focus system they have now, and it's at the moment, certain parts of the focus system are more reliable than the DSLR, like the 5D4 with the new firmware. Absolutely. Before that, it was night and day. It was like Fujifilm was stuck in like 2012 or 2013 for DSLR world. Now I would say, yeah, they're up almost roughly, maybe in some ahead of the 2016 Canon for sure. But the way the lens jumps into focus and then jumps back is just unnatural. It doesn't work. And if it works for you, it's because you are not a professional sports photographer. And I'm saying this as a non-professional who's done sports, and I could just say there's no way that the Fujifilm in its current shape is ready for that. And birding, it's probably, because it maybe, I don't know, listen, tiny birds are probably really frustrating with the Fujifilm lens. Not only, there's no way the autofocus is going to follow as well as a Canon would, but there's that jump thing is not good. So the lenses don't matter. At this point, the lenses don't matter. Fujifilm's autofocus system, the lenses, I'm sure they could do just perfectly smooth. Like the 18-55, when things are smooth, it's smooth and it's parfocal. Nothing gets bigger, and it's brilliant. For video, if it were powered by a much better autofocus system, smoother, their lenses would be damn fine. They're not because of the autofocus system. So it doesn't matter that we don't have a 300, 400, and 500. When they do have them, I don't think you're going to find Fujifilm professionals rushing out to get them, because Fujifilm's focus system, again, just not ready for that sort of thing.
This is understandable. However, the 200mm f2 Fujifilm is incredible, and Fuji's coming out with a 300mm f4 and a 500 f6 next year. When next year, I don't know. But I mean, you take the GFX cameras, which is ultimate image output. Yeah, the only way you're going to do any better than that for image output is if you buy a phase 1, which is more expensive probably than your house and slower than a constipated turtle.
Okay, I have a little bit of experience in one of those areas. Okay, so 3 years ago, we were going through New Mexico or something like that, and I kid you not, there was this turtle, and I didn't know it was a turtle at first. All I saw was this, how do I describe it? I've never seen a turtle jump until that moment. It was just crossing the road, or maybe just going alongside. It looked like, I think it was trying to cross the road, but it was actually timid, worried about the cars, going across. And I noticed that it was kind of jittery, and it was just kind of, now why did I notice? I wasn't driving. We were driving, and then we stopped the car, pulled it back, but it was kind of jittery, just kind of scooting along the side. But it wasn't, turtles is kind of, if they're moving, they go slowly, but they move forward. This turtle was kind of going to the side and kind of going back, and it just looked something was bothering it. And I went down. I was like, hey, why talk to an animal? Why not? I went down to it. It was like, hey, little guy, you all right? It looked up to me, and it just took off, not running, like it took off. I shit you not. I think I can say that. Hopefully not. It dropped a shit. I think what happened was it was constipated until that moment, and then bam, the thing came out, and it just fired itself. It was obviously a lie. It's obviously a lie. But that was a lie, by the way. It was a lie. All of it a lie. I hope it was kind of, yeah, anyway. But we have a house. I know the prices for the Hasselblads. I know the prices for the phase 1 cameras, all this. None of them are going to be more expensive. People complaining about housing, man. When we first moved to Canada, you could go up to, where is that? Barrie, city north of Toronto. You could get like a half an acre of land with a little bungalow on it for 50 grand or 60 grand. Fix up the house, put 10 grand into it, and you could have a nice farm. Today, Barrie, you're spending minimum 200 grand, 300 grand, and sometimes a lot more than that. Houses in my area, when we moved there in this city called Woodbridge, I think our house, if I remember my parents saying it, this is Canadian dollars, 249 grand is I think what they bought it for. And then when they ended up selling it, it was like 400 grand. How many years? 10 years later. And then the guy that bought it evidently flipped it, and he painted it black. He flipped it, and he made, it was like for 800 grand, something like that. There's no way a phase 1 like costs as much. Okay, a tiny little bungalow in 1996 in Barrie, that can be turned into a farm that you can live on no matter what comes up? Maybe. But you're going a little bit too far. And I think that the turtle thing, I don't know. I've never seen a constipated turtle. But the phase ones are not that slow. And the interfaces for them are very good. Autofocus is slow? Is it slower than GFX 50S? I don't think so necessarily. All right, let's go.
Yeah, that's the only way you could get better image output digitally than that on a GFX camera. So GFX has all the bases covered. They had ultimate image output and anything for sports, action, and wildlife. I got it covered with the X-T4. And my last Fujifilm camera review was this, the XS10. Borrowing this camera, by the way. I really love it. This is easily the best do-it-all portable camera, my opinion, the best camera for travel and just to grab and take anywhere. It's very, very compact. It has incredible ergos. It has IBIS, which makes it wonderful for doing night or low light street photography with old adapted lenses. You can buy a $22 adapter and take some of that old awesome glass, stick on here. You still got stabilization with a 1950s lens. You know, like this thing here from the I think this is like early 1960s. One of my favorite lenses of all time, which is, by the way, on a Fujifilm adapter. This is a K&F M42 to Fujifilm X adapter.
Got another ad right here. It's Japanese. I live in Japan, by the way. All right, let's skip.
So yeah, the answer is to why Fujifilm is this.
Here we are, guys. Here we are. We are. This guy. Okay, Ken Wheeler's way better than I am. I'll be like 90% through a video. Oh yeah, the reason why. And okay, so he's 50%. Nice.
I know.
Why?
I don't want to buy that Nikon Z6 Mark II, but I'm using that as a principle. It was people keep saying, "Are you excited for testing the Z6 Mark II?" And the answer is absolutely not. It's not that I think it's a bad camera, because I know it's.
Yeah, he does. Yeah, he does. He thinks it's a bad camera. Usually his eyes like, it's not like I think it's a bad camera. And right behind the window of his eyes like, you piece of lazy Nikon, blah, blah, blah. All right.
It's not. You know?
He blinked 3 times. Okay. I was watching a video about Lucky Larry. Want to be careful here. Around a certain event that happened 20 years ago that basically shifted the way America deals with the Middle East. And this guy named Lucky Larry, or is called Lucky Larry, who is later on describing the events of that day and his insurance investment about a month, or I don't remember, it was a month or several days before this event happened, and his return. He was blinking the entire time, and he had a very hard time looking. You know, Ken's looking at the camera, but this other guy, he was just like, and it was just. And I learned later that a lot of blinking. Keep your eyes open, Nathan. A lot of blinking is indicates the fact that you might be lying. Now, when I was talking about that turtle, I can't remember if I was looking at the camera there or if I was looking at my keyboard. Not sure. I was lying. That was a joke, I guess. I'm not a comedian. But I saw 3 blinks right before Ken did that thing there, and I got it. I think he's lying. I'm just going to say that.
It has great image output, the Nikon Z6 and Z7. Now they got dual card slots. They got vertical grips. They have improved interface because it's the second iteration of the cameras. But there is nothing about those cameras that can in any way, shape, or form impress me relative to the GFX cameras that I have. Which...
All right, fair enough. What if Nikon decided to put on a fascia on top of their cameras that made them look like old film cameras? What about that? If they did that, would that impress you? Okay, like, because I got like, why are you in the Fujifilm? Like, why Fujifilm? Are you into Fujifilm because Nikon don't impress you? Is that why you're there? Are you into Fujifilm because they have a thing called the GFX 100? Now, there are some groundbreaking things there. It's got IBIS. That's cool. It's got phase detection autofocus with lenses that are just, let's be honest, they're not up to that. they handle like the early X camera lenses that were like you can feel the steps in the autofocus there. They're not exactly smooth. They're not like STM lenses. So I mean, yeah, there's nothing out there. I will give this to you. The GFX 100 is in a league of its own. IBIS. That IBIS is going to move the sensor around so you can get 400 megapixels eventually. The pixel shift. The ergonomics, however. Why is it bare metal on the bottom grip? Everyone's complained about that. Who are honest, people that are honest complain about that. Image quality, yeah, sure, it's 60%. 60%. It's not 60% better than full frame. If full frame is barely better than AF or APS-C, which full frame is 225% larger than, then the 60% larger GFX cannot be 60% better than. It has to be barely better. What is better? I'll give that to you.
Will blow any Nikon, any and every Nikon ever made, will blow it out of the water. Let me repeat that. Any GFX camera, whether it be the 102 megapixel or the 50, will blow every Nikon camera out of the water ever made. Period. That's an undeniable fact. That's not my opinion or feeling. That's a fact. And for hardcore sports action wildlife,
I missed that. Just a moment. Let's go here.
Undeniable fact. That's not my opinion.
Go back.
Blow every Nikon, which will blow any Nikon,
let's go back.
iteration
Sorry about
of the
this.
cameras. But there is nothing about those cameras that can any way, shape, or form impress me relative to the GFX cameras that I have, which will blow any Nikon, any and every Nikon ever made, will blow it out of the water. Let me repeat that. Any GFX camera, whether it be the 102 megapixel or the 50, will blow every Nikon camera out of the water ever made. Period. That's an undeniable fact. That's not my opinion or feeling. That's a fact.
All right. That's totally an opinion. Let me just say this. Okay, when I had the SL, by the way, I'm not a Leica guy anymore. I wasn't a fanboy. I was just a user. We're making a lot of money for a while before I woke up to a couple things. I put, yes, okay, Nathan, why did you put it in 35 millimeter mode? Why did you put the GFX in? Well, because I wanted to use the same lenses, same crop factor, and just put them back and forth. People were complaining that the Leica SL has a bad sensor, it's worse, and But if you put the GFX in 35 millimeter mode, when it gives you, I think at that time, it gives something like 35 or 33 megapixels, and you're comparing it to the Leica SL at 24 megapixels, you blow it up to the same stuff, you do the same composite image, you do the blah, 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 blah. You compare them back and forth. There's no way anyone out there could tell the difference between the two. No way. Now, if you you bring up the shadows 5 times or 500% or whatever, yeah, fine. Sure. The GFX would be a little bit better. And it does way better in highlights. The sensor in the Leica that was used from 2015, the highs, you had about 10% leeway. You could bring them down a bit and then they would clip. The GFX, you have 30, 40% maybe in the Lightroom slider. Not quite Canon sort of highlights protection, but very good. Now, that said, even if you use the GFX, okay, fine. You need to use a camera that has similar megapixels, or say maybe even a 36 megapixel compared to the 50. There's no way in hell that the GFX anything blows away a camera that has somewhat similar megapixels. No way. Even okay, wait. Maybe if you go very far back, maybe you go very far back and comparing to like a CCD sensor. Yeah, fine. But the CCD sensor has its own charm. Those colors and the contrast. But there's no way. There's no way. Now, D-Preview have done it. Other places have done it. And it turns out that when you look at the images side by side, the differences are just tiny. Now, you can raise shadows a bit more. Remember, it's a 60% larger sensor. But remember also, full frame is just barely better than APS-C. He will say that, and he has said that. It's not worth it. But here, this tiny difference, 60% larger sensor, it's just so much worth it. Now, I used to shoot medium format that had a 90% crop. No, 10% crop. So it's not the 645 frame, it was the Hasselblad CFV 50, not the 50C, the 50, the CCD version. It has a huge sensor. If you look at it next to the 50C, which also has the same size sensor as the GFX, you're like, whoa, it's massive. It's like, how am I going to clean that without, streaking? That one, there were some benefits to that. Pixel sharpness was sharper for sure, and it could be just because you had bigger pixels, whatever. But that was a 50 megapixel camera. This is the best image quality I've ever used. But even then, let's be honest, did it blow away full frame? 30 at the time I was using. I also had a D800 and an A7R around that time. Did it blow those ones away? No. Did it look better at the pixel level because I'm an advertising photographer and I wanted to be at the yes. Did it blow it away? No. No. Did the GFX 50 blow away the D800? No. You're lying. You're a fanboy. I love you, but you're a fanboy.
And for hardcore sports action wildlife.
And I'm not even a Nikon guy.
Here we go. The user interface on this is 100 times better than the Z6 or Z7 Mark II.
I think you might be exaggerating a little bit. Might be a little bit. That joystick is the size of a baby nipple. It's hard to tell if you've depressed it or pressed to the left or the right. You can't actually move your finger to the left or the right properly unless you have tiny little baby nipple fingers. And then you can just go on the top and you beep, 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 to the left, to the right, and up and down. Otherwise, if you get normal size hands, you have to lever it over and then lever it back. It's slower to do that because you have to go to the side and press over and then leap over it and go to the back, and similarly with up and down. Bad design. AF on buttons. It's actually countersunk against the body. Fujifilm have the worst. I'm going to stand by this. I'm not going to say 100 times. I'm not going to say that. They have the worst hardware interface now. They've barely upgraded or fixed things that they had problems with almost 10 years ago. Barely. Even Sony have come out with decent joysticks and okay autofocus on buttons. They're not the best placed. They're not the best size. They're not the best travel, but they're better than Fujifilm. The XT4 or 3 or even XH1, I don't know what you're holding there. It's not an XH1 because the prism thing, the fake prism thing is a little bit, the angle is more acute, whatever. It's not that one, obtuse. So it's XT3, XT4. It's not. Okay, also autofocus is nowhere near like say a Canon R6. It's actually the autofocus not even as good as an R, but the response of the camera is way better. R is like, come on, man, just get going, No, it's not the ultimate action camera. That camera, I was comparing, okay, guys, like, come on, man, get going. I was comparing, what's this lens here? All right. There's a 5D4 2016. It's got this STM lens here. It's like their only STM zoom for the EF lens mount. It's a 24 to 105, 3.5 to 5.6. Not an expensive lens, not a great lens. Focuses instantly and smoothly. Like, I couldn't even tell when the focus transition happened. It was as fast as my eye could move to the next thing. Bam. That goes for the OVF and it goes for the EVF. Now, benefit, before I get off topic too much, the benefit of the Fujifilm lens here that I was comparing it to, which is the 18 to 55, 2.8 to 4, is that when it's going, when it's dark, the f4 is a huge benefit over 5.6 for video. It focuses where that the 5.6 won't. That said, in the dark, through the OVF and even through like the back, when it's like, low contrast, not direct light, this camera, which has the latest firmware, and when I was using it with the zooms, is not able to focus. And in the great light, it has now a very tenacious focus for single objects. But once you start to get a busy situation, it's just not responsive enough. So no, it's not the ultimate thing. And I'm making this video too long. You're wrong, Ken. You're wrong. You're a fanboy. Stop it.
It just is. It's not my opinion. It is.
It's your opinion.
Well, that's a crop sensor. Who cares? The best National Geographic photographers that shoot wildlife use crop sensor cameras.
And who cares about your GFX? It's 60% larger than a full frame. The best Why I don't understand why you're lionizing APS-C and saying sensor doesn't matter, but the GFX is so much better. All right. I am kind of a full frame fanboy, but I will tell you there's some serious benefits to APS-C. One of them is you use a zoom, an f2.8 zoom. That bad boy will give you like a much, well, not a much, but it'll give you a deeper focus. Like let's say full frame, it would be like one eye, and you'll still have the same exposure, like 1000 ISO 100, whatever, like that at f2.8. And full frame, you do the same thing, but you only have the eye in focus rather than the nose and the eye. Huge benefits for that. And macro, man, you can, because the sensor's smaller. 1:1 means you're getting closer. 1:1 on a 4x5 camera, you're focusing on something like that. That's 1:1. 1:1 macro. 1:1 macro on APS-C is like that. So you can focus on much smaller things than full frame. Huge benefits to that, especially when you're using like microscope objectives, which will basically illuminate the entire sensor. The huge benefits, massive benefits. But dude, no, doesn't work like that. You can't just be like APS-C awesome, full frame sucks, GFX awesome. This is brutal. All right, let's go.
Because of its croppability due to pixel pitch and more translational information per square millimeter per square millimeter of sensor, more translational information. So that is the answer. People say, why Fujifilm? You know, perfect analogy. I can never come up with a better one. This is the single best take anywhere and travel camera, compact that you want to travel really light. My opinion, anyway.
No, it's his opinion.
Relatively inexpensive XS10 Fujifilm.
That actually looks like a pretty cool camera. Nice grip.
Everything, really. Ultimate image output, the GFX. What the hell else do you need covered than that? Ultimate image output, sports action wildlife, ultimate travel / take anywhere camera. Basically, this is just the XT4.
All right. Why Fujifilm? So if you're going to go the Fujifilm route, oh man, I just sound like such a jaded Fujifilm user. I am, kind of. Fujifilm, here it is. If you want to go to the Fujifilm route, you want to have the ultimate in Fujifilm terms, not in general universal terms. You want to have the ultimate in action photography and sports and all that. You got to get an XH2 when it comes out, or the XT4. You're going to have some, there's going to be some basic differences in ergonomics, etc., which are going to hold you to the XH1 over the XT4 for sure. And then you can have all that for the autofocus. Let's say it's perfect. It's better than Canon, better than Sony, all the autofocus. You get XH1 for that, or XH2, and you get the XT4 for that. But then if you want the best image quality, you get yourself a GFX 100 or a GFX-R or whatever, GFX 50R. You know. So you got to have two different systems, two different lens systems. So here's my problem with this argument. My problem with this argument is it basically ignores the fact that you have to have two separate systems if you want to cover all your bases as he's talking about. Now, I don't think most people do. I think Fujifilm have definitely expanded the medium format market. I was a GFX user for 3 years, I guess. Very much enjoyed it over digital backs. It's just so much faster, so much more reliable. However, if you want to use a GFX system, those lenses are much more expensive. You have to use them in a complete different situation. You're not going to be using it for sports. You cannot then use that camera for other situations as easily. So maybe you would most often reach for your APS-C camera over your GFX. So your GFX basically is, you use it for a specific set of needs. Of course, that's what it's made for. And the piece of dust, the APS-C camera, assuming it's perfect, is used for something else. But in order to do everything, you need two systems. Now, it is fair to say that if you had a Sony, you would want, say, like an A9, lower resolution sensor for your action. And then you want an A7R for your higher resolution photography. And Canon, you would get, I guess, R6 for action and R5 for high resolution. If they bring out their super high resolution one that we all know about, then you'd get that. But you'd have it would be the same mount. You could use the same mount, same lenses for 2 different projects. It's so much less money if you're going to have to cover the entire gambit of photography. If that is your what's the word? If that's your qualification, it's not the word. It's not the word I'm looking for. If that's your qualification for a great system, is you have to have 2 different cameras to do this and then this. The GFX system and the Fujifilm system is so much more expensive, and you need 2 separate lens systems. Sony, no. Nikon, no. Canon, no. Panasonic, no. Olympus, they only have micro four thirds, and there's some sort of trouble. Maybe I don't know anything about their future. No one does. But they just brought out a $7,000 500 lens. Maybe they're invested in it. I have no idea. Whatever. But Fujifilm are the only one that's making you choose. If you want to join us for the sports and you want to join us for the image quality, you got to get 2 separate. Everything's got to be separate. And this one's real expensive, and this one's kind of expensive. No, not sure where that voice came from. No one else has that. So I think this is a very bad argument. And I sound like a. I guess you know what? Here, I love Ken for everything, but his Fujifilm takes I don't like. I think they're poor. But apart from that, anyway, let's go on.
40. I don't care what they call it at Fujifilm. No, it's an XT40. It is the baby version of this. It's what happens if the XT4 had a love child with the XH1. It would be this.
Maybe.
Yes. So there's the answer in very simplex terms. Why Fujifilm? There's the answer why.
That was clever, actually, by the way, Ken. Simplex terms. Simple and complex, mixed together, simplex. And his answer doesn't make any sense to me. But he did use simple language to get there. That was clever. All right. You just like every argument that I brought against you now is invalid because that was a simplex. You did it. It was simplex. And I was trying to bring arguments that were taking things not out of context, but we're taking what is one tiny little bourbon or whiskey, and that's all it takes. What's it? Abstract items that you haven't directly mentioned, but you have, and bringing them in together into a cohesive whole. And you've just derailed me. Damn. Simplex.
Build quality, customer support, continued firmware, the ecosystem of
customer support. Where can I rent my Fujifilm cameras? Even in Japan, I only know one place that's like covered by Fujifilm. The rest are like, there's a lot of people that do it on auction sites. There's shops that do it. But in terms of customer support, I don't know about that, man. I don't think it compares to Nikon or Canon for sure. Is it better than Panasonic? Probably. Better than Leica? Yes. Leica? Man, if you're a Leica user and you got a problem with the camera, I'm lucky to be located pretty close to Tokyo. They have Ginza, and I have had a repair done on a 28mm f2 Zoomicron. Took 3 months, but they added 6-bit coding. That was cool. But 3 months. I mean, Fujifilm are better than that, but I don't think that customer support is something you want to add there. Firmware, they add firmware here and there. Sometimes you get a camera that the firmware list goes way down there. They've covered it for 4 years or whatever. And it's like, I'm glad I bought that camera. But then you get the XH1, or you get the X Pro, which one was it? 2, or you get the X100, basically anything except for the original one, and on. And it's like, Kaizen don't mean nothing. Build quality. Do you remember the XT1? The door, when I got my XT1, was it battery door or was it the car door? One of them looked like someone just took an X-Acto knife. It was like, and then I checked other cameras and the same thing. Had a light leak. The crinkle finish is awesome. The lenses, I don't know. They're okay. I don't think they're okay. They're okay. They're not the top. They're not the bottom. They're probably higher than the middle.
what the camera system is.
All right, skip that.
And
I've got ads on my video too. It's rubbish. I'm sorry about this, but whatever.
the company does embrace the corporate zeitgeist.
Corporate
Nikon
zeitgeist.
Never did.
That's what I want.
Listen, I like
Aren't Nikon like totally corporate? Isn't that what everyone like always complained about? They're so conservative. They're so corporate. They got no soul. Even Canon has more of a soul. Sound like Alex Jones.
Nikon. I got Nikon tattooed on my hand for the rest of my life. But I've known
That's based, man. That's based.
ever since way before the days of photography school in the early 90s. It's like Nikon, you know, those like beautiful girls that spend half the day staring in the mirror like you are awesome. You are awesome. Nikon's exactly like that pretty girl that stared. He's like, can't get anything done. It's like, what does she do all day? She stared at the mirror at herself.
Okay, I totally disagree with this. We've all seen those girls. When we lived in Korea, it was the weirdest thing. There would be a girl at McDonald's. Yes, she'd be good looking. Like everyone does plastics. 80% to 100% of girls out of high school do some sort of plastic surgery in Korea. Eyes, nose, whatever. So you have no idea what they actually look like. But they're pretty, fine. But she's sitting there at McDonald's and she's by herself at McDonald's and she's taking selfies. Ridiculous. That said, I don't think Nikon, sure, fine, Nikon. I don't think Nikon have that sort of image about themselves. You're talking about a company. What I think they have is a very serious mentality that is sometimes slow, sometimes conservative, but always plodding ahead. Now, have they moved too slow here? I have no idea. In 10 years, who's going to be left? I have no idea. Will Nikon? Will they be gone? Will they be still here? I have no idea. But they are not incessantly talking about themselves, about their camera looks. They're not putting faces on like makeup. They're not doing like plastic surgery on a digital body to make it look like a film camera. They're not making advertising to show everyone that doesn't have their camera an ape, literally an ape. You remember those early Fujifilm? Let's see if we can find it. Fujifilm mirrorless DSLR evolution. I don't know. I spelled it wrong. Man, I'm never going to find this. There it is. All right. Hey, wait, if I share this, though, what's going to happen? Am I going to lose this thing? All right, let's see here. Let's disembark here just for a second. I'm going to remove you, Ken. We'll come back to you. All right. And let's stop screen. Oh, man. Share screen. Let's go to Chrome tab. Google search, I guess. Here, check that out. This one. You all seen this back from the early days. Oh, wait. There. Look at that. Wait, can you see it? All right, you can see that. Look at that. They show, this is so, Fujifilm are so focused on their looks, they don't even get the details right. They're comparing, quote unquote, the evolution of a guy carrying a bag of cameras, probably some batteries, looks like some support there, cameras, lenses, whatever, to a guy who's carrying a smaller bag, a tripod, and then eventually to a guy just carrying a single camera and lens. Are they? This marketing is so. I think it's okay. It was aimed at stupid people. What I mean by that is anyone that's taken by this is like my mirrorless camera, the mirrorless camera that I just got. That's much smaller. It's so much smaller that I no longer have to crouch down. No, there's no way anyone saw this and like agreed with that, because you could have the guy that's crouched down on the ground. And by the way, I like the drawing. By the way, the drawing's pretty cool, and it is clever in a stupid person's way. But they have this guy crouching on the ground, basically unable to move forward because he's got so much stuff, which is stupid. No one would ever carry that much gear. That's that's the word begins with an R. He could, from the beginning, just have a DSLR and a lens. And it looks like the guy in the end has a tiny little mirrorless, which I don't think at the time Fujifilm had a camera that small next to a body, maybe an X100. But then people are like, X100, if I carry that for traveling, it's not going to cover everything. So they added, a super wide or an 18 millimeter roughly equivalent lens. And then they added a 35 millimeter. So then it was like, okay, so you got two extras. Then you'd have to have a little bag. You could just have a DSLR and it'd be a little bit bigger around his neck. wouldn't be that heavy. You could have an APS DSLR if you want to stay. You could have a D5000 with a 35 1.8. That is a small camera. It's not as small, but it's small. It's so stupid. It's the R word, you know? All right, let's go back to Streamlabs. Stop screen. Share screen. See if we can get this right. Chrome. Share audio. Why Fujifilm? Back to Ken. Did I get it? First try? Bam. Based. No. There we are.
Nikon at a corporate level suffers from that. Weird.
No, they don't.
God,
No,
you
they don't.
Nikon, you
No,
were
they
so
don't.
Awesome.
No, they don't.
See, that's ultimately detrimental.
Sure, if they were like that, that'd be detrimental. But they're not like that. They're so stodgy, I think, that, and maybe they move slowly and they're plodding to get to the point, but they're moving. They're not like that. They are totally not like that. Have you seen the guys that they put up to like talk about stuff? They don't even properly brush their. They look just like an average guy who came out of an office. They don't even care about what the guy looks like. This is not. You're describing either Sigma or Fujifilm. You are wrong.
That's what
Right.
Nikon's been doing.
I'm
Been
out of
doing
whiskey.
for the past many decades.
I missed
and
a
it has
joke.
caught up to them, and it's not caught up to them in a good way. If you know what I mean.
I think I missed a sexual joke there. I think we should all think about this. There's something good here that we're missing. Go
I
ahead.
have a funny way of describing things, don't I? And yet everybody seems to say, "Oh man, I know what you mean. I really get it now." And you drove it home. It's like, well, good. I think that was my goal. Goodbye.
Is that a mic drop? Okay. All right. So anyway, I don't think if anyone's in okay, basically I totally disagree with Ken on basically every single thing he said in this video, except for what was it? I'm trying to think. Do I agree with him? Anything? I don't remember about that. But I am a huge. It's so trite to say I'm a huge fan after basically maybe not doing a good job, but basically, in my words, saying that I disagree with him. Now, if anyone's up for it, I want to show one more video of Ken, and it's a short one. I've got nothing bad to say. It's totally why I follow Ken. If anyone's up for it, say yes in the comments. If not, then I'll just kind of address the comments. It's a short video, and it's going to be praising Ken and the reason why I think he's worth watching, and why I think he's a very unique YouTuber, and the reason why I have slowly come around to become a huge fan of him, whether or not I disagree completely on the Fujifilm front, as well as the Nikon, Leica, Canon, Panasonic, Olympus, all that. Yes. Okay. All right. So we have an okay and a yes. So let's go back to Ken. If you guys have, like you know how YouTube, they have they go from video to video automatically. It used to be that they would stay. Now it'd be like you could be watching something that's like illicit from a certain political perspective, and suddenly you got Jordan Peterson. It doesn't make any sense. So it doesn't work as well. It used to be that you'd like roll Teoria, and it would be like an endless Teoria, but it's not like that anymore. Let's go back down here. This guy is... I love this guy. Okay, pause it. Let's get the video here. This is a totally different Ken. How can I stop screen? All right, new video. Here we are. Chrome tab, share the audio. Monkey upgrade to Sanctuary. He calls his followers flying monkeys, I think is what it is, if I'm remembering correctly. I might be screwing that up with Atheism Unstoppable. By the way, Atheism Unstoppable, I got his shirt. I actually don't watch him anymore. I used to watch him a lot. I'm totally a religionist now. But here we are. See here, let's get it going. All right. Boom.
So peaceful out here at the monkey sanctuary. I had a giant load of lumber, white oak delivered, and I built another.
By the way, I'm just gonna show it. I might stop it in two places. Just watch this video. Drink your thing. Watch this video and just think about what you just saw, what you just listened to, And please, I hope that you listened to my critiques and saw that I think my critiques were correct. Now we can argue about that, but I think they were generally correct. And then just watch this.
Log holder with a cover. Of course, it only hold about a quarter of the wood. And we got a gutter installed. Yep, got a gutter installed, and that's to trap the rainwater in this 330-gallon container. You see the gutter right there? Downspout. I don't want to connect it because winter's coming, and this thing were to be full of water and freeze up, it would just bust the hell out of it.
Hope you guys can hear this.
So, other than an airplane off in the distance, it's just so quiet out here. Got a roaring.
Okay, I'm going to stop this right here. There's a comment in the chat says alter ego from Bizgaster. This is a good comment. Listen to his voice. He's not there. The edge is gone. He's talking about something that's actually moving his soul. He's looking at a cabin that's obviously been there in the woods for a while. I don't believe that he built, but he bought on a piece of land that is his own, and he's talking about it. There's nothing critical. There's nothing edgy in his voice. There's nothing. He's not trying to convince anyone. He's just, his soul is laid bare, and he's looking at a piece of property, a piece of land, a piece of work that his soul is already buried into, that his heart is already buried into, that his mind is invested in how to improve. He is a man in basically at nature. He's looking at his castle. Now, I believe that he doesn't live here. This is either his separate house or summer house or whatever you call it, or house in the woods, and he lives somewhere else. But the way he talks about this is a man lovingly talking about something that he can see connecting his now and his future together. And it is I don't maybe alter ego is not properly the way to say it. It's just, this is the connected man talking about something that is there, stuck in, buried in, and moving his soul, rather than something that's satanically like causing him to react and get mad. And I don't know. He adds these things in and they're just worth, look at the view count. Yes, it's from 4 days ago, but people understand this. They feel it. I think people feel the change. They feel the man inside. They feel the soul inside. Anyway, yeah.
Fire going. A roaring fire. Some nice cured wood. It's supposed to get stormy tonight. Oh yeah, turkey feather. And the turkey.
He's talking about the nature. He's talking about what's happening around him. He's talking about the things that are going to be transcendent beyond his life and before his life. Whereas before, he's talking about Nikon. Yeah, they existed before he was born, sure, but they're just a company that just make things that people get mad about because they attach themselves and their products. They don't do it. You do it. You attach yourself to their products and other things, and in a way that destroys the soul. I'm absolutely involved in this. But like, the change here in tone is incredible.
Turkey feather. Last time I was out here, I saw a dozen giant turkeys. They were making a real noise going through the woods. I thought, what the hell is that? I thought it was a deer or two, but no, it was a dozen turkeys. Yeah, there's an airplane overhead. It's the first time I've ever heard of it.
Got nice headphones right here. I thought it was over my head.
Yeah, 330-gallon water container. Nice. Nice in the scene out here. It's really so peaceful out here. Yeah, this is my farm going up that way.
Listen, maybe I'm talking to the wrong crowd here. I don't know. Like, I'm a person that believes that there is real value to quote unquote blood and soul, or blood and soil. And he's talking about his farm, which if he develops it properly, he'll be able to get things that do nourish his blood from the soil. And if he had progeny, they'd be able to nourish his progeny, and the people around him would be doing the same thing. I'm hearing the real man connected to the land right here. And there's a comment in the chat. It's like creepy, and maybe I'm talking to the wrong crowd here. But I'm moved by this video. The land is very important.
I was gonna say, why didn't you chop your own lumber? You got all the wood in the world.
Good point, by the way. If you're going to do a farm, clear the land, use the wood, recycle everything, make the stuff that you need. But, whatever.
Of all the things that you shouldn't do, a giant, massive pile of firewood. I mean, for $120, massive pile of fire. You have to whip out the chainsaw, split the logs, haul them. If anybody thinks that's worth $120 of labor to do it yourself, I mean, you are undeniably smoking.
Okay, wait a second, man. Okay. I like this video until this moment, but he's wrong. He's wrong. If you clear the land, you got room to use it. And if you're felling your own trees, and maybe you don't have a lot, I don't know. Are you really experienced in that? Or are you not experienced? Is it annoying to you to do that work or not? If you do it yourself, you know how to do it. You get better at it. You know your land better. You know, like if you're felling trees, you also know where the rocks are not. You have to, you'll listen. You're wrong. It's worth it. It's worth it. It's worth it.
You're just flat out smoking crack. How do you love the outhouse?
No, I'm not.
Isn't that cute? Yes, everybody needs an outhouse.
Put it away from the house, man.
Needs an outhouse.
I'm just checking the volume here.
It rained out here a couple days ago. Anyway, so busy, I can't even spend the night out here. I got a bunch of these really nice rocks.
It's kind of sad to hear that he couldn't spend the night. That he made one of his earlier videos. He was showing off the bed that he made, and his room is nice and cozy, man. It's a nice piece of land. I don't know how big it is. I haven't followed the details that far, but this is a nice piece of land, and I hope to see that he's like developing this quite a bit in the future.
On the farm here, and all these outcroppings, you can see it up there, flat spots, but all these big rocks. How quiet it is.
Exactly.
So very peaceful. You see turkey and deer out here. Anyway, stand on the back side of the outhouse. I'll catch you later.
I think he's gonna say bye here. We're just gonna keep walking. Actually, we'll let him walk. One of the things I really liked about this video is there's quite a bit of sort of, it's not dead air because it's not like nothing's going on. You're seeing his land. I don't know how big it is. I don't have a piece of land. I wish I did. But you hear him walking and you hear nature crunching under him. You see his house. The way he talks about it, the way he talks about his land is different. The critic is gone and the heart jumps to the fore, and it's different, man. It's different. And I love, there's no other, as far as I can tell, there's no other photography channel or channel that's large as his that does photography that touches this sort of thing. And he does philosophy, and he talks about Tesla, and he talks about ether, and he talks about stuff that I don't know anything about. And he talks about politics, if you want to hear about that. His channel is eclectic sometimes, critical sometimes, cynical most often when he's talking about things, or not his land. But it's worth it because he bears his soul in a way that I don't think any other photographer, like Tony Northrup, what does he feel about the land? How would he talk? I have no idea. He's always talking about some sort of product. And this is, listen, no one watches my channel, but I have this problem. I'm just talking about products. It's rubbish, but I don't know. I love this. Anyway, walk away, Ken. All right. Oh, there we are. And look at it. Tony Northrop right there. Tony. All right, guys. That's the last video I wanted to show you. So I'm just going to take that away. Stop screen. Thank you very much for watching that. If you got any questions, I'm going to try to look at the chat. See here. APS-C for telereach. Yes. I have a video coming up about one of the articles I have on my blog about the biggest benefits of APS-C. And I think there are many. Image quality is definitely not one of them, unless it's about depth of focus. Absolutely. And that, again, works against the GFX or larger sensors for the same reason. If you want to get the same depth of focus, you got to stop way down, whatever. So I don't really want to, worry so much about that. Let's see. Some Biggs, I cannot pronounce your name. Bizgaster says Kodad. You got a spelling problem just like me. Kodad CCD. Yep. That's a cool. That was in, I think, was that in early Canon cameras? I don't know. Or it was in some of the phase ones, something like that. I'm not sure. Oh, wait, where am I? Let's see. What are we doing here? Here in Kyushu now, right? Have we chatted? Yes, we have. Debating on STN. You're debating on the XS10. Good luck, Kanya. Seems like a pretty decent camera. Actually, I'm quite impressed with Fujifilm for that. Again, from Bizguster, most of the Nikonists are jumping into Fuji boat. I'm not sure about most. I think that's wrong. I think Nikon people that have been with Nikon for a long time have a lot of options. Some of them now, if they don't like the DSLR thing, or they don't see a future in that, now have Nikon mirrorless to go to if they want to, but they have a lot of options. The guy that I've considered my Nikon sensei, unfortunately, will not be coming onto my live stream. He said he's not feeling the live stream thing right now, but I was going to bring him on, and he's holding out. He is holding out, and I think for Nikon mirrorless. I don't know if he feels in the Z6 II or the Z7 II. Would have talked about that. You know who you are, G-Spot. All right, let's see here. Let's see here. Even Canonist, only amateurs. Not sure what that's in response to. Sorry about that. Then Fauxtaku. Oh, that's me. All right. Let's see. T Wu says Contax NDigi best full frame CCD. You know more about this than I do. Wish I did. So cool comment, but I have no idea what's going on there. Sorry about that. Manual focus. No. Micro Four Thirds is even better then. Yeah. I mean, by that, yeah. If we're going back to the APS-C does this and this and this, and it's got depth of focus. You can absolutely argue downwards or upwards as far as you want until you get to basically saying that the iPhone, which has a wide angle lens at an f2 or f2.4, f2.8, should be better than every camera out there because amazing quality and a tiny thing that you always have with you. And you're not going to get that much better image quality going up and up and up and up. So you could totally argue that. And I think it's possible to go too far in one direction and too far in the other. Absolutely. What about the QE on the GFX 100? This is from Bizguster. Man, I cannot say it. Bizguster. What is the QE? Quality assurance? Quality QE. QE stands for question entity. Quality enhancement. Question authority? Question my authority. I had no idea what you're going on there. Sorry about that, man. Why GFX didn't use X-Trans? That is such a good question. The official, maybe not official, but the answer that I'm told is correct, is that they didn't need X-Trans, which is, pardon me. Didn't come out. That's bugger. They didn't use it because they didn't need it. The higher resolution, the higher resolution, the higher you go in resolution, you won't need to have some sort of blurring anti-aliasing filter or some strange demosaicing or mosaicing pattern or whatever you call it, because the high resolution will not be subject to the same Ware. So, but that does raise a question: why are they still using X-Trans? Probably slows down the XT3 and XT4 quite a bit. Yeah. And by the way, Fujifilm X-Pro 1 XC1 was usable for business after 4 years. Yes, they were. However, you still couldn't tell when you're using the X-Pro 1 what the camera was focusing on if you're using the OVF, which meant that the OVF was still for prime time, essentially pointless. If you're going to use the EVF, fine. But the OVF was and remained a toy until the X Pro 2 came out. There was no point. If you relied on the camera for work, the OVF was not right. I'm now reacting to comments that came much earlier. Disguster says, correct, I have no idea. And you missed an R. You're misspelling. You are drinking whiskey too much. Disguster, Rebel. Can't read. Canon Rebel XT is smaller than X Pro. Yeah, probably. There's a tiny little Canon one. Let's see here. We're here. Whoa. We have from... Why do you guys always have these names? I can't read. From this guy named Skibiu says, have you ever seen the AMD graphics card making fun of NVIDIA? I haven't. I imagine that they have done that. My first 3D card was an ATI. I think it was called Rage Pro. I think it was just Rage Pro. I think it was called. It was 1998. It was right at the time where people didn't know much about 3D. Even my computer guru guy, don't bring his name, probably doesn't matter, who ended up working on Tom, like this kind of disgusting, degenerate TV show. Was it called Tom Fingered Me or something like that in Canada? He worked there, and he had no idea that the Rage Pro did actually 3D. And I think that the Rage was a Rage Pro 3D or something like that. There was a Rage Pro and the Rage Pro 3D, and one was an actual 3D accelerator and one was just 2D. But anyway, I had the real 3D. And first time I did that thing up, I was like, wow. I'd never seen bilinear filtering before. It was like, there's no jaggies. It's just so beautiful. And they were Canadian. At that time, I was not yet a Canadian citizen, and paper citizenship, I think, is kind of rubbish. But I was new to Canada, and I was like, yeah, good job, and that was cool. But I have never seen the adverts for them. I've seen Mac making fun of PC, and it's coming back, I guess. I don't know if it. Marketing. There's a good video about marketing by a gentleman by the name of, I don't know his name actually. He's called Rights and Duties. It's on YouTube here. He has a video actually called Marketing. Let me link that here. Rights and Duties Marketing. Let's see here. Is it? All right. YouTube Rights and Duties. Maybe he's like shadow banned. I got no idea. He's right wing, so. Is it? Just a second, guys. This is totally not it. It's totally not it. Rights and Duties. This is channel. That's literally what it's called. Here we are. Rights and Duties. Marketing. Let's check it out. I'm not going to watch it. Don't want to deal with that on this channel. But this is a really good. Here we are. Really good video about that marketing. And there's a huge problem. I have a huge problem with marketing. Anyway, I've never seen that. Okay, yes. All this stuff. I should have been responding at the time here. I'm acting like an actual popularized stranger. I will deal with the comments at the end. If you have a comment you want me to see, make sure that 1 million people have upvoted it or you have given me a super chat. Otherwise, yeah. So anyway, we got another comment here. Alter Ego, we got there. Creepy. I see it in a different perspective. I think that's just... I love this part of Ken saying, I love that he's doing the cabin in the woods. I hope that he really does a lot of videos about it. I hope that he labors the land and gets his just 15 acres. By the way, this is from my obscure epoch. 15 acres. Man, that's a good piece of land. That is a good piece of land. 20 decibels of noise. Not sure whether it's from Dorian Gray. It's been a long time since I read that book. Only amateurs from Canon, Nikon jump to Fuji. Yeah, that's probably right. Although there's some people like, was it Low, the guy that began with an L? He was doing the advertising, like rappers and stuff. Low. He had like a cool website, and he was using Phase 1 for a while too. Quantum efficiency. You left off the F, man. You keep doing that. Yeah. OVF makes no. What? Oh man, the video didn't. Hey, just a second here. Where'd that go? I wanted to show. I showed the title. I didn't show the. Man, here we're gonna go back to YouTube. A second here. Rights and Duties. can't type. I'm basically like Big Buster Good Dutcher. How do you say your name? Bizguster, Disguster. Rights and duties. Let's go down to marketing. His video. It's a really good video. If you ever want to watch it, just so you know, it is from a right-wing perspective, but not like a conservative perspective. But yeah, it's a really good video about marketing, and it really covers a lot of things. I have a problem with it. Too quiet in the woods. I don't know, man. The quiet, getting away from the city. We live on the edge of Tokyo. It's much quieter than Tokyo. You don't smell the smell of Tokyo, which is actually not quite very nice. It's that people talk with each other. No one in my area is like all, scared. We have barbecues and all that. It's really nice. So I like where I live, but I would much rather live on the land and just basically. I think my wife wouldn't be up for it, but I would very happily be without electricity. Yeah, so whatever. If anyone's got any questions, I'm here for you right now. If not, this is the end of the live stream, and thank you very much for watching. So I'm gonna wait. Normally, if I had a beer, I'm a very slow beer drinker. I would wait. I would have like a half left, and I'd be like, until I'm done with this, we'll stay on this. But I finished my whiskey. So if anyone's got any comments or Bizguster, cannot say it. Bizguster is like good for sound recording. Okay, so he's kind of keeping me here. But if anyone's got any questions, bring them on. Yeah, absolutely. You could do some serious ASMR or whatever. But man, there's something about the land again, and I think it brings out, especially for the man, it brings out the man that hides in the city. The man in the city cannot be, and I honestly believe this, cannot be a man in the same way. He cannot, and what I mean by man is just biologically, men, stronger bodies, they're taller, their bones are thicker. They're meant for hauling wood. They're meant for chopping down trees. If you live in the city, you can only wear a beard, or you can only like put on a flannel shirt. You can only put on your Doc Martens or something like that and kind of look masculine. But you cannot get through the work of your hands. You cannot get calluses. You cannot get skills that would get you to be able to survive. If electricity went out, you can't do anything. And so I think that it's very important for a man to actually have connection to the land. So yeah. But this is about cameras, kind of. Although I did bring up the land. I think it's a great video of Ken, and I really, like I said, I really want to see a whole bunch more because you can even hear it. His soul is connecting to the land. He's not cynical. He's just like, and then I saw wild turkeys going over there. I thought it was deer. He's just amazed by it himself. He sees his future. He sees everything there. He's disconnected from everyone else's like lines of thought that's like trying to flow in and everything. He's the human in that area. Here they're playing and that's it. But yeah, tradesmen live in the city. Yeah, that's true. They do. It's true. Although I think it's trades are a little bit different now. I'm not into the guilds thing or anything like that, but like even they're putting up a house next to my house, and they're using the Canadian or American style nails, nail guns, chop off your piece of wood here, and then you stick it together with a piece of metal like that. No, it doesn't matter if you disagree with me. It doesn't matter at all. But I have watched houses going up here in Japan that are using traditional wood joinery. Even ones that are using like a low skilled team to put it up, they might be prefabbed, but they put it up, with traditional joinery, and maybe they're not doing the exact same ways that they used to, but they're doing it in a way that's better for the wood, better for the house, that can make less noise, etc. But it also brings forward skills that connect to a previous generation. And you can be a tradesman, but are you a craftsman? And I think that, maybe I hold crafting in a little bit too much high ideal or something like that. But I think that the crafts, true crafts, ancient crafts, traditional crafts, bring out the man more than just a test of testosterone, of using your strength. Something about using skills that transcend you because they go to the past, but they also build something that will live to the future. Think like Sistine Chapel in stone. Think about the Japanese castles in wood, or northern Norway, like Røros. I'm not saying it right. There's a city up northern Norway. It's called Røros, I think, and something like 1/3 of the city is made of wood, ancient wood buildings. They've been there for 700 years. I'm getting that wrong. I think some of the oldest ones are 700 years. I think most of them are some hundreds of years old. People either use them still as shops, and some people still live in there. But they're beautiful old buildings that are held together with traditional craftsmanship. And it's totally superior. And you can feel it. You go there and you're like, people lived here, not corporate entities creating a place for people to live. People built this, and it's just different. It's different, yeah. All right, let's see here. So the tradesmen live in the city. Yeah, I'm not disagreeing. No, yeah, like, hey, it doesn't matter. I have good takes and bad takes. I don't know if that was a good take or bad take. My obscure epoch says, oh no, Bizguster. I cannot say your name. Bizguster, soundproofing your house. My house is kind of soundproofed. It's the company that built it. Yes, I had somebody build it. It's called Sweden House. They built it kind of like a Swedish style house. It's not insulated the same way. It just kind of looks like a Swedish house. The outside is that stuff the Japanese use in the modern houses. Not clay. It's baked stuff. So it's not like, it looks like wood, but it's not wood. It's kind of tacky. And when I came, I wasn't ready to build a house. And to be honest, I haven't built anything since I was like 20, 21, when I was on a construction team. Not a craftsman, I was a tradesman. My obscure epoch, I was a boat builder in the city. Now I'm an engineer in the country. Boat builder, man. Type of boats, man. I know very little about boats, nothing about building. My father used to sail catamarans around Los Angeles. He's from California. Not really sure what my point. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. You don't got a point, man. Boat building is based. I appreciate your take on crafting things. Well, I'm. My surname is Wright. Wright means making, and I've lived most of my life until about 20. I was doing, construction, was helping my dad, etc. And after that, I got into university. Did the typical. I wasn't drinking soy at the time, so I can't say I was a soy boy. But I was in university, and certainly around 2000, and my parents were like, you got to go to university. You don't want to be in the trades. And I was like, really? But then I followed, and I actually wanted to be an electrician. But I do have a problem with, I think it's a green defect. You know how there's like those colorblind signs? I've taken it many times, and there's 20 of them. I get 2 out of 20 correct, and the 2 I get, the one is the one that's like grayscale, and the other one is like the one that's like grayscale off. So I couldn't be an electrician. And by the time I had found that out, there was also something, architecture. I was really interested in architecture, and I did architecture in from grade 10 to grade 13 in high school. We had 5 years of high school back when I was there. One was called OAC, which is supposed to be like the first year of university. But turned out I was like the last year that fully did it, and it didn't matter. But yeah, I did 4 or 5 years of that, and it was great. And I got the highest awards in my school. And my teacher thought that he called me Nathan Lloyd Wright, like after Frank Lloyd Wright. We shared a surname. He's of course much like there's no comparison. That I had real passion for that. However, at the time, my maths were poor. And I think if I went back, I could probably do it. But my maths were so poor, I could not. There's just simply no way I could have been an architect, because the physics would have boggled my brain. So anyway, yeah, I don't think we need to take this any farther unless anyone's got a final thing to say. I'll just say thank you very much for coming in. I did talk with some passion about one thing. The battery thing is cool. Fine, but about Ken Wheeler is someone I'll probably talk about later on again, because I do really like Ken. So yeah, Bizguster, Disguster, Bizguster, you are a pragmatic person. I may be. I'm not sure. I'm possibly. I don't think anyone can actually be an actual traditional person today. I think everyone is basically bog standard. You're just a liberal. That's how it is. You're maybe like slightly right wing or slightly left wing or but you're basically a liberal. And I call myself a traditional-ish person. But I mean, come on. I'm sitting in front of a microphone with headphones on, dreaming about freedom. I'm a liberal. Yeah. So anyway, yeah, guys, thank you very much. I said I was going to do a video this week. I didn't have. We're having a Thanksgiving party, so don't tell anyone. We're having a Thanksgiving party. We're not on lockdown, but we might be in like 3 days. So, yeah. So I didn't get done filming what I want to do. It is actually related to mirrorless cameras. Anyway, thank you guys for all the chats and everything. Look forward to seeing you next time. I think what I'm going to try to do is do this on Thursdays. So Thursdays about this time, 8:30 Tokyo time. Yeah, mix in a bit of the small reaches of philosophy that I understand, the small reaches of something that's not just photography that I understand. Not a lot. I'm not well read. I did post-colonial literature in English. Worthless. It was worthless then. It's worthless now. Yeah, anyway. All right, guys. Thank you very much. I'm going to do my exit music right now, if I can figure out how to do that. Share screen. I always got to annotate what I'm doing. Chrome tab. Fauxtaku Lounge. Share audio. I always forget to do that. Boom. There we are. Based. Got it the first try. All right, guys. Thank you very much. Big Busters. I was just going to say goodbye to everyone here. Since I can, it's not too many people. So I can't say it anymore. Bizguster. Awesome. Nice to have you. My obscure epoch. Thank you very much for your chats. And no problems about takes. No problem at all. Fotak, that's me. Woo, you're not there no more. That was good. Who else? Skip you. It was good to have you there. Thank you very much for your comment about AMD. Never seen the adverts. SG Rody, MTF is even better than. Yeah, should have answered when you were there. Skipper, awesome dude. Nice to Skipper, he's the guy in Kyushu. Wish you would have chatted up a bit more. And that's it. All right, guys. Living the dream. Do the 5. Not sure what 5. Yeah, I guess. Or who, what, where, when, why. 5. W5. All right. See you guys. Bye-bye. Wait, what? Oh, I didn't hit play. It's not based at all, man. Freaking. All right, go. Do it. Am I doing this right?